Hola muchachos, ¿qué tal? Buenas tardes. Aquí tienen el horario para hoy, martes, el 11 de enero. You guys did have a couple assignments due for today. The interview activity that we did last class, where you guys were chatting up one another, asking about what you did over the winter break. That was to be submitted. And then the welcome back quiz, which you can find in Canvas as well. That's what we did on our first day back. Today our learning targets are to talk about your daily routine, but also the main focus is to distinguish the difference in use between ser and estar. Both those verbs mean to be, but they're used in different situations, and we'll go over that today. Your warm-up is exercise 11 on page 82. A little bit of a review of what we did right before we went on break, the daily routine project that you guys did such a great job with. Talking about your daily routine and when you do these 6 activities throughout the course of the day. So, just as you did for your project, you're going to take these reflexive verbs, levantarse, bañarse o ducharse, cepillarse los dientes, arreglarse el pelo, vestirse, and then acostarse. And all those verbs you can find on page 96 in terms of their meaning. You're going to conjugate those in the present tense in the yo form. For example, me despierto, me levanto, me ducho, me cepillo los dientes. You're going to conjugate those. Make a T chart for your warm-up. On the left side, put the verb. Conjugate it on the right side, indicate at what time you do those activities. Include the time of day as well, for good measure. En la mañana, en la tarde, en la noche. Or de la mañana, de la tarde, de la noche. Me despierto a las 6:30 de la mañana. For example, that's your warm-up for today, and then we're going to get right into a reading. Necesitas dormir más, which is exercise 14 on page 83, the very next page. Do you know how much sleep you're supposed to get every night? Well, the answer can be found in the reading here. Real short reading on page 83, and then you have comprehension questions. Number 1 is text independent, meaning the answer comes from you and not from the text. ¿Cuántas horas duermes cada noche? How many hours of sleep do you get every night? Yo duermo 7 horas cada noche. Yo duermo 5 horas cada noche. So in the yo form, indicate how many hours of sleep you get. How many hours do you think you need to sleep every night? ¿Cuántas horas crees que debes dormir cada noche? And the answer again can be found in the text for number 2. For number 3, just identify 3 suggestions that resonate with you. So these are suggestions for how to get more sleep, how to sleep better. They're in bullet points here. Just pull out 3. Pull 3 that really resonate with you and that maybe you'd be willing to try, or that you have tried in the past or continue to do, and they pay dividends for you. And then to do that, you're going to change them into the yo form. So for example, toma solo bebida sin cafeína después de las 5 de la tarde. These are pieces of advice, right? Take or drink only drinks without caffeine after 5 in the afternoon. You don't want to have any caffeine after 5. Is that something that you do already? Or something you'd be willing to try? Yo tomo solo bebida sin cafeína después de las 5 de la tarde, right? Just change that into the yo form. Evita programas de televisión o películas violentas antes de acostarte. Avoid watching TV programs or movies that are violent before you go to bed. Change it to the yo form. Yo evito programas de televisión o películas violentas antes de acostarme. También evita usar la computadora o jugar videojuegos antes de dormir. Also avoid using the computer or playing video games before you go to bed. So change any of these in the yo form to take ownership of them, to say that you do them or you'd be willing to try them. And again, that's 3 for number 3. And lastly, we're going to go over the verb ser and estar, which is on page 86, and then do a little bit of guided practice. And your homework is a continuation of that concept, which is ser and estar. Ser and estar both mean to be. They're used in different situations. You guys have already come across them in a number of different circumstances thus far in your second language acquisition. You can see that on page 86, and this is what you're going to add for your notes today, not only the conjugations of ser and estar, which you recognize, right? Yo soy, to describe what you're like. You did that at the very beginning of the year. To describe the characteristics or the personality of someone or something. To talk about where you're from or the origin of something. Yo soy de Brentwood. Yo soy de Los Angeles. Or ownership or relationship to someone or something. Occupation, to indicate what someone does for a living. All of these things or situations call for the verb ser. In contrast, the verb estar is used to talk about the physical or emotional state of something or someone. When you want to ask someone how they're doing, how are you? In Spanish, we would say, ¿Cómo estás? Right? So we're asking about feeling or mood. Yo estoy contento, cansado, triste, feliz, ocupado, nervioso. Right? Those are all physical or emotional states. When you want to indicate the location of something, ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? ¿Dónde estás tú? Yo estoy en casa. We use the verb estar when we're indicating location as well. Generally speaking, ser is used for more permanent descriptions, personality, origin, characteristics, relationships, occupation. More permanent descriptions for the verb ser, and more temporary descriptions for the verb estar. So those are the notes we're going to go over today. We'll watch the Gramatica video, which gives you a little bit more guided practice and descriptions of those two verbs. And then exercise 19, you guys are going to be filling in the blanks with what you think are the correct forms of either ser or estar. And you're going to use these context clues that are identified for you here. Adjectives, which describe someone's personality or characteristics, usually going to use the verb ser, because you're describing what someone or something is like. Adjectives that describe physical or emotional states, how someone's feeling at any given time, well, that's going to call for the verb estar. So that's exercise 19. We'll do that together. Exercise 20 is a continuation, but it's only focusing on the verb estar. Estar, again, we use to talk about how people feel or their physical or emotional state. So you're going to read these descriptions and then two things. Use the verb estar in its correct form according to the subject that you're talking about, and then pick the adjective that you think best encompasses that situation or speaks to that situation. So for example, Carlos toma el sol en la playa. Carlos is sunbathing on the beach. Aburrido, Cansado, contento, entusiasmado would be enthusiastic or excited. Nervioso, ocupado, tranquilo, these are all cognates. Nervous, occupied or busy, tranquil or chill. Contento is a cognate too. Cansado means tired, and aburrido is bored. So this one makes sense, right? Carlos está muy contento. He's really happy to be sunbathing at the beach. Elena y María van a participar en un concurso. They're going to participate in a competition. ¿Cómo estás? Or ¿cómo están ellas? How do you think they feel? Maybe excited? Maybe a little nervous? Maybe a little, I don't know, chill, the quiet before the storm, that calm that comes before having fully prepared for a competition. Maybe a little nervous. Let's go with nervous. But how do you conjugate estar if you're talking about Elena y María? Well, it's a plural subject, right? So it's going to come from this right side. And you're not included in that group. You're talking about the two girls. So using the ellas form, we would use están. María y Elena están nerviosas. Or están entusiasmadas, whatever adjective you want to use. So for the rest of these, step 1, figure out the subject. For number 2, the subject is you, because it's asking you or telling you in the to form that you're going to a dance with the most popular guy or gal in the school. How do you feel? ¿Cómo estás tú? So for number 2, you're going to respond in the yo form. And then the second part would be picking the adjective that best describes that situation. So step 1, conjugate estar. And step 2, pick the adjective. Your homework, finally, is guided workbook page 67. And for that, oh, not that one. For that, super easy, right? It provides all the notes for you. You guys are just going to fill in, similar to what we just did for exercise 19, whether the verb ser or estar should be used, and if so, what's the correct form. You're going to look at those adjectives that come right after, right? Do they describe what the person is like, their personality or appearance? And you're going to use the verb ser. If they describe physical or emotional traits, how they feel, or their location, then you're going to use the verb estar. Same thing for part B, paying close attention to those words that come directly after the break. A lot of them are cognates, guys. A lot of them are words that look and sound like their equivalent in English. And part C is just fill in the blank. Same thing with the correct form of ser or estar. So that is our agenda for today, y'all. Martes el 11 de enero. Nos vemos en la clase. Hasta luego.